Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. So thank you very much for joining our online class. So this is the chapter 1, Introduction to Communication Systems. So we will discuss briefly the first part of this chapter. So this chapter consists of the following subtopics, from introductions to signal to noise factor and also noise figure. So this will cover 9 subtopics for this chapter. The outcome of this chapter, basically at the end of this chapter, the student should be able to define basic electronic communication systems, then explain terms of modulation and demodulation, describe briefly the electromagnetic frequency response, define the bandwidth and information capacity of a signal, define the electronic noise, and describe the most common types in communication. And the last one is the students should be able to explain the concept of signal to noise ratio and also noise figure. Okay, what is the basic principles of communication? We're going to start the study of communication system. So let we revise a little bit of the important concept of communication. So what is communication in this particular subject? In this particular subject, the communication is the process of establishing connection, or we can say link, between 2 points for the purpose of information exchange. So we need to establish connection between 2 points to exchange the information. There are 3 important things that must be present in order to exchange the information. First is the sender, the second is the receiver, and the third, okay, after this. So what is the sender? The sender is the first part, which send the information, the origin of the information from the sender. Sender also known as the transmitter. For example, we have the transmission station, a TV transmission station or radio transmission station. Those are the senders. The second one is the receiver. So receiver means that the receiving part of the information. We have information, we have the receiver. So the receiver will receive the information from the sender. The simplest example is the TV and the radio. So these are the receiver. So what is the number 3? Anyone? So number 3 is the channel, also known as the medium, the communication medium. So the channel is the path through which the signal propagates from the transmitter to the receiver. Okay, so we have the transmitter and we have the receiver. So the channel or the transmission medium is the between this, the path that the signal propagates. The simplest form of transmission medium or transmission channel is the air, and we can have some other types of the medium. Okay, the simplest example is the air, and we have some other type of communication channel or transmission medium. So okay, now what is the information? So how do we package up a message for transmission, or how do we create the information for transmission? What is the information? The same example is we have the voice, like we are talking, we say hello, so that is one example. Another example is we have picture. Okay, for TV we have picture. For telephone we have voice, we can hear voice. And for radio we have song, for example musics. Okay, so these are the example of the information. Okay, so this when we need to transmit this signal, we need to convert whether from analog to digital, or from kind of picture to another type of form of information. So we have here this is the simplest digital form. We can see that 010101, or we can have this amplitude modulated signal. So we change this picture to AM, amplitude modulated signal, or we can have the music or the sound into frequency modulated signal, FM signal. So this process we will discuss later. We will discuss further the transmission, the conversion of this signal later in this subject. Okay, so in the message can be in the form of analog or digital. So we have the voice just now, human voice. From the voice, using the mic, we convert the voice into the electrical signal in the form of analog signal. So this is basically when we record our voice, we will have this analog signal. So we can see this amplitude of the signal will change with the change of time. So this is the original form of voice in the form of analog signal. Okay, due to when we're going to transmit the signal, sometimes we need to convert the analog signal. We need to convert the analog signal to the form of digital. We need to convert the analog signal into digital signal. So this signal will go through some process, and we convert this continuous signal into digital, which is discrete. Okay, so we can see this is called the continuous signal or analog, and through certain process like sampling and the sampling process, we convert this signal into digital. So in digital, the signal is discrete, and it is at certain time interval. So we can have, it is not continuous. So we can see here it is the signal has has the amplitude of the signal at certain time interval. Okay, for the sake of discussion or analysis in this topic, the simplest form of analog signal is in the form of sine wave. So this is the sine wave or cosine wave. So this is basically the simplest form of analog signal, and this signal is used to represent the voice or the message in the form of analog signal. Okay, so and in this subject also we will learn how to convert this analog form of signal, the sine wave, into the digital. How we going to digitize this sine wave into, and we have this digital signal. So you can see that this analog is continuous. It has all the value at each of this time, whereas in this digital signal, the value of the signal is discrete at certain time interval. Okay, so this sine wave has been converted into digital signal. Of course, there are certain process in order to convert the analog signal into digital. We will discuss this process later in another chapter. Okay, so that's all for first part of chapter 1. So we will continue again after this. So that's all for now. Thank you very much.